Hi and welcome to this lecture about initial coin offerings on the Ethereum blockchain. Let's have a look first what exactly is that and how it's done technically. Well, an ICO is nothing else than publishing a smart contract, a token contract, on the Ethereum blockchain. Usually there is a set number of tokens or coins available, for example 1 million coins or 1 million tokens, or it can have other functions that increase or reduce the token supply. And if you start an ICO, then it usually starts with a very specific date where these tokens can be bought, either for a fixed price or for an auction or a Dutch auction. A Dutch auction is where the price is getting lower over time. The smart contract has a few functions, or we call them interfaces. Right now, there is one standard pattern that stands out. This is the ERC20 pattern. They also talk about the ERC20 token contract. The ERC20 contract comes out of Ethereum request for comments proposal. So there is a repository in the Ethereum GitHub repository, a project that is specifically here for Ethereum improvement proposals. And the 20th Ethereum request for comments was the standard token contract. And this came out as the ERC20 token contract, which is nothing else than a standardized set of functions for other contracts or for wallets or for dApps or for people to interact with this smart contract. This is how the ERC20 token interfaces look like. So you have the ERC20 contract, and you have a function called total supply. This returns the total supply of tokens which are available in the smart contract at the time where you call the function. Then you can get the balance of a specific address. So for example, I buy 10 tokens, and when I call balance off and then give it my address, then it returns hopefully 10. Also, everybody else can, of course, inquire how many tokens I own. I can also transfer tokens to another address. So I can transfer 10 tokens to the address number 2. And if I call the function approve, then I could, for example, approve that address number 2 is allowed to send 100 tokens to somewhere. And then address number 2 can go ahead and say it wants to transfer from my address to address number 3, for example, 10 tokens. And the token contract will hopefully obey or fulfill this order because I approved it before. Then I can get the allowance. I can ask in the name of address number 1, how much token can address number 2 spend. The ERC20 token contract also has 2 events that get fired, once during a transfer and once during an approval. You can have a look at the ERC20 token interface, the website, the ethereum.wiki/w/index.php/ERC20_token_standard. And we are going to work a lot with this ERC20 token. And of course, we're going to play around with it in the next few lectures. You stay tuned until we are just playing around with it. The ERC20 token also defines standard variables. It usually has a name and a symbol, which is interesting for the exchanges, but it also can define some decimals. So instead of having just 1 million token, you could have 1 million token and 18 decimals, which gives a lot of room for spending less than 1 token on something. Those are the properties we are using throughout this course. We are using mostly the symbol name. What we're not using is the decimals property, because it would be an overkill for this course. And most of the other real contracts that are used as exchanges right now are struggling with this, because you don't know how many decimals a token contract has before it's deployed. So it's a bit of a hassle, but we still can do a lot. We are focusing on exchanging a fixed supply token with a fixed amount of tokens with 0 decimals. And we can transfer these tokens between addresses, especially between our exchange contract and the token contract, which we'll do a lot and we will do in a very detailed way. What is important when you launch your initial coin offering? Well, theoretically, you can just publish the smart contract for a fixed supply token and you give it a name and you have basically launched your coin. But in reality, you have to have the right idea. Maybe you have to obey some regulation and some laws. You have to do a lot of marketing, probably a lot of PR events. You have to get your white paper right, and your community, of course, must stand behind your idea. And when this all, and probably a lot more, plus a bit of luck, is on your side, then when you publish the smart contract, people will buy in and they will exchange Ether for your tokens, and you basically own the Ether. Here's what you learned in this lecture. There is a standard pattern for tokens. It's called right now the ERC20 token. This is nothing else than a set of functions which can be used as an interface, either for other distributed applications to interact with the ERC20 token that you are going to publish, or for wallets to send and receive tokens, or for other contracts to interact with the standard token contract. What is also interesting is an ICO is really easy to do. It's nothing else than deploying the smart contract on the blockchain and letting other people know under what terms they can buy your tokens. If you have any questions or suggestions, head over to the Q&A. We are trying to answer everything within a very short time. If you have any feedback, please let us know. If you're not satisfied, maybe you can shoot us a message and give us the opportunity to set things right.